Welcome to the 52nd week in a row that we have done the road to a million call. Well, that's not true. That's not true. Because the very first call we did was actually called 0 to 20K, because that's exactly where this business started. It started at zero. $0. Week number one, Katie, do you remember how much revenue we did?
$400.
$400. Do you even remember the client's name?
Yeah, but I'm blanking it. I can picture him. He's fit. He goes to the gym. He's shorter, dark hair.
Say his name.
Ryan Overcash.
Thank you. There it was. To Ryan Overcash. Yes. It was our very first clean on March 8th, 2024. And so over the weekend, we turned 1 years old. And it was cool. It was cool to reflect back on how we started this thing. Um, and the reality of it is that probably the start of the start of this company actually started probably 6 months before that. Um, when I hired a coach, and I paid that man $1,000 an hour, and for 6 months he gave me one piece of advice. He said, "Start another location." That was it. Like, I have all the recorded calls. I can go back and listen to them. It was one piece of advice, and I drug my feet for 6 months. Um, but then in March, with some convincing from Katie as well. So Katie actually started getting on those calls probably about uh, the last 3 months. Katie got on those calls, and
No, the
yes,
last 3 times. I was only on 3 calls.
you're only on 3 times, or that was like 3 months you were on there. I think you're on more than
No.
3 times. Anyway, so then with Katie's convincing as well, we started our second location down here in Arizona, right? And so yeah, it's been a year. It's been a year, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about how we grew a business from zero, literally zero, zero clients, zero revenue, zero momentum, and in 1 year we did $483,000 in revenue. And the truth of the matter is that it was very, very, what's the right word? Unfun.
Ugly.
It was unfun. Um, it took hearing 575 no's. Like, yes, I went and counted them. 575 people said no, too expensive. Got to think about it. Got to talk to my spouse. Whatever. No, right? We spent $50,000 on marketing to get clients, to get people to tell us no. Um, we either had to fire, or we had 58 cleaners who either got fired or quit. 58. Crazy. We did over 400 Zoom interviews. Or excuse me, 400 phone interviews. We did almost 200 Zoom interviews. And so when you see the result of the $483,000 in 1 year, people are like, cool. But when you actually realize what it took to get there, you're like, that's not that cool. It's not. And that doesn't even account for the amount of like work that Katie and I did along the way. Katie started out cleaning. I started out selling and hiring and firing. And then Katie, after 3 months, came into the office, and then she helped with sales and hiring and firing. And then 6 months into the business, we were able to hire cleaners. We were able to ascend cleaners from the field up into the office, and they took over the hiring and firing and the sales. And since August of 2024, Kate and I actually haven't been part of the operations inside the office, which ironically enough, Katie's actually in the office today, which is so funny. Um, but she's working in the office. She's just not working in the office. Her mom is in town and stole her office, which is the RV. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of work, and and here's the part, right? So here's the part that people were like, "Oh, you made $480,000, but how much profit did you make?" Right? $8,000. So all that work, all that money invested, we did it for free. We did it for free. Right? Now the question is why? Like, why would you do that? Well, what we can see that nobody else can because this business, we care more about this business than anybody else does, is that all that profit, it all came in the last month. And so eventually this business will be very profitable and it'll make $15,000 to $20,000 a month in profit, which will then have made all that work for the first year worth it. All that pain, all that struggle, all those no's, all that money invested. Like $50,000 is a lot of money. Is it a lot of money if you're going to eventually net profit $15,000 to $20,000 per month? Is it really a lot of money? And so these are the discussions and the thoughts that Kate and I have along the way. And honestly, a lot of this we're just going on faith and trust and belief, and like we've done it we've done it once in a totally different market, in a totally different state, in a totally different way, by the way. Um, and we're honestly just also relying a little bit on hope and faith that that we're able to do it again. And also, we're also convicted in the fact that like we will figure out how to make it happen again. Maybe it takes us a little longer. Maybe it costs more money. There's more challenges that we don't see, but at the end of the day, like we're committed to figuring out how to make it happen. And I think at the end of the day, that's one of the most valuable skill sets that I believe any entrepreneur can have is just being committed. And so, because you're going to run into problems, like you're going to run into challenges. You're going to face things that you were not expecting. And it's how you handle those things. It's how you address them, how you react to those problems is going to be dependent on how quickly you solve that problem, or even if you solve that problem. So, with that being said, okay, should we dive in to what happened in week number 52, the
Let's do
last
it.
the last week of the year? So I'm going to share our vision sheet with you guys here. And so if you guys are brand spanking new here, this vision sheet is the sheet that will make you feel, oops, please restart. Why did it stop? It will make you feel so much better, because all of a sudden when you feel like everything's falling apart, the data will show you that the business, it is not falling apart. It is continuing to grow. So also there's an addition to the vision sheet. In addition to the vision sheet. So all you guys who are inside the coaching program, you guys can eventually get access to this new vision sheet, but I added the trailing 12 months revenue. So what is the trailing 12 months revenue? Kitty, what is the trailing 12 months revenue?
Revenue for the previous 12 months from today.
Exactly. So moving forward, we'll start tracking this data so we actually can see how close this business is to becoming an actual $1 million business. Okay. And so, as you guys can see, for the last 4 weeks, like 4 weeks ago, we did 423,000, and then 440, and then 450, and then 468, and then right now we're at 483. Now, in your very first year of business, that's always going to go up. So that's exciting. But in year number 2, it might not always go up. It just depends on, are you doing better than you were a year ago? But if it is going up, that's a sign of progress. And so this showing how much revenue is in addition to the vision sheet. It's another milestone that lets us know that we're on track to actually building a $1 million home business that profits $200,000 a year, right? So for the projected monthly revenue that we are at right now is $54,800. The last 30 days revenue was $62,000, and next 30 days revenue is $50,000. Current monthly revenue is $17,852, which also is our weekly revenue that we hit last week was $17,852. So this was our second highest weekly revenue that we ever had. You can see 4 weeks ago we actually hit 19,000. So yeah, so if you guys were on last week, you guys heard the story of everything falling apart, or so it felt like. But the reality is that the business kept going. It kept going despite losing top cleaners, despite losing solid cleaners, despite losing low performing cleaners. Like the business still grew. And so that's where the sheet becomes very, very valuable to us as humans who are very emotional beings, is that when we don't feel like things are going the way that we want them to go, the data always like the data just tells the truth, right? Without judgment, without opinion, without good or badness. It just is. And so that was the second highest PR or the highest weekly revenue that we've ever had. So awesome to see. And just $1,000 short of actually being on a $1 million run rate. So $19. If you do $19, excuse me, $19,000 per week for 4 weeks in a row, 4.33 weeks to be specific, uh, you have a $83,000 a month company. And if you do $83,000 a month times 12, that is $1 million. Okay, clients. So reoccurring clients here. Oh, what happened here? Our sheet got smushed. Do you see this, Kitty?
No.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it didn't get smushed. Why does this look so weird? Okay, never mind. Total recurring clients, 157. So we are stuck at 157. Why are we stuck?
As you grow, your attrition grows.
Yeah. You're going to lose clients. Like as you get more and more recurring clients, you're definitely going to lose more recurring clients. So you just have to you gotta outpace the amount of people you lose by bringing them in. This is a game of speed. And I think the more that we can understand that this is just a game of speed, like the speed at which you get clients versus you lose clients is going to be dependent on if your business grows or not. Because then if you believe that, then you expect to lose clients. It's just, can you gain more clients than you lose? The irony in that is like it's very similar to money. It's like people think about money, but they never think about like speed to money, right? And the reality is like the faster you make money and the slower you spend money, the more money you keep. And the more money you keep, the more security that you have, the more freedom you have, the more options you have. So it's a game of how do I make money faster and how do I spend money slower? That's like another good analogy to think about. Weekly cleans, 77 weekly cleans. This is the second highest we've ever had before. So we served 77 people last week. Pretty cool. Run per clean, we did $230 per clean. That's pretty cool as well. And then cleaners, yeah. So we had 13 cleaners for work last week. So if you guys were on the last couple of weeks, we lost 7 cleaners in the last 2 weeks. But we've also been bringing new cleaners in. And then last week they actually worked on average 24 hours. So they worked hard last week. And total assigned cleaning hours is 312. So it was only our second week that we ever got into the 300 assigned cleaning hours. ZenMade, what we billed last week, so we billed at 17,852, and the breakdown of that, 5,000 of it was initial clean, and then 12,000 was reoccurring. So we can see here, if you go back up, you guys are paying attention here. See how 4 weeks ago we did $19,000, and this week we did 17,000. Those are our we have big reoccurring. Those are big reoccurring client weeks right there. So what this shows us is that like, what if we just had $12,000 every single week? Then our business have a higher probability of consistently hitting 17, 18, $19,000 a week. So if you want to actually grow a $1 million cleaning business consistently and hit those numbers consistently, it's increasing your reoccurring. And so that's where having the problem of being stuck around this 155 mark for recurring clients, I see that as an issue that needs to be solved here. And we're going to talk a little bit later on how we're gonna address these issues. Revenue received, we received 15,000 inside QuickBooks. 4,689 is what is outstanding invoiced over the last 7 days, or is outstanding invoices for less than 7 days, and then greater than 7 days is 898. Some correction cleans and discounts. We had 2 correction cleans, it looks like. Then we have some 10% discounts. Google reviews. So those are cool. We'll talk a little about Google reviews here shortly. Marketing, intro marketing. We actually didn't send an intro marketing message last week. That's because our schedule was full last week. We didn't need to send an intro marketing message last week, which is cool because that'll hopefully give us an opportunity to send some messages this week. Marketing. Last week we only spent money on Facebook because our Google local services is down, and it is still down. So if you guys have been following around, you guys have been following along since February 13th, our Google listing got disabled. We have not had a Google listing since February 13th. Um, and the reason why is not because we got so many reviews. They're like, you guys got too many reviews so fast. That's why you guys got shut down. Like, no, it's not why we got shut down. The reason why we got shut down is because I created another Google listing for our next clean location that we're going to start sometime in the future, and I used the same address, and then they both got shut down. That was the problem. So it was a me problem. Um, but yeah, I'll tell that story here. I'll tell the rest of the story here shortly. But because we have no Google listing, it doesn't allow us to actually advertise on Google local services if you actually don't have a Google listing itself. So we spent all of our money on Facebook last week. We spent $1,494 on Facebook. We got 80 Facebook leads. We got 3 Messenger leads, 3 missed call leads. Somehow we still got 2 Google local service leads. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if that's a typo or not. We got 3 homepage leads and 7 incoming call leads. So we got a total of 98 leads at a total of $15 a lead. So not too bad. Not too bad. Sales numbers, we had 7 spots unfilled last week. So again, we were pretty full. And being full can be a condition of 2 things. It can be a condition of a lot of cleans on the schedule or just lack of cleaners. And so we definitely had a combination of both of them, where we had a lot of cleans on the schedule for last week, but we also had lost a lot of cleaners, which meant that there wasn't a lot of openings. But this week we have 45 spots open, and I think this week we started the week out with like $14,000 on the books. So we'll see if we can increase that back to that $18,000 mark this week. So last week, Megan, Keziah, and Emma all did some phone calls. We had 436 phone calls. And then for some reason we didn't get the answered calls, but we had 39 quotes scheduled, 24 showed, and 46 quotes performed. And we closed 28 of them for $8,366 in projected quote call revenue. So it's not bad. It's not bad. I would say that's pretty consistent. And we got 6-to-1 on our marketing to quote quote revenue right there, which means that we invested. So let me just explain to everybody who maybe hasn't been here before. So if we spent $1,494, and then out of that $1,494, we sold $8,386. If you divide 8,386 divided by that 1,494, you're going to get 6-to-1, which means that we put $1 into marketing, we got $6 back out. Okay, so I would say this is like a a good number to pay attention to, that you can see how well your marketing is working. You don't judge your marketing on your cost per lead. It just doesn't matter. I don't care if you get $15 leads or $20 leads or $8 leads. Like, the cost per lead is not going to allow you to continue to market. So I think that's just like one thing I can help you guys out with. Is just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I put $1 into marketing, I got $6 back. Like, how many of you guys would make that trade? Yeah, that's what matters. It has nothing to do with your cost per lead. Okay. How well can you convert those leads into initial cleans? And then if you actually want to have a profitable cleaning business, one that does $200,000 in profit, or just $100,000 in profit, or just $150,000 in profit, you're going to need to convert those initial cleans into reoccurrings, because the majority of your profit is going to come from reoccurings. Okay. And so last week we only converted 4 people, and only for an additional $450. So let's go back over here. So we had 77 cleans, 17 were new clients, 60 were reoccurring clients. We had 3 correction cleans. We have 157 recurring clients, 61 occasional clients. And this actually is not correct. We actually got 1. And we actually have 403. Watch this. Boom. So, yeah, so last week I was actually on this call, and I actually asked for help. I said, does anyone know anybody who can get a disabled listing back? And actually had a couple people reach out to me. And one person who's actually inside our community was like, yeah, I actually use this person, and they helped me. I was like, I don't know if it'll work for you. but I was desperate. And so I took that information, and the guy was from Pakistan. And I was like, okay, we'll see if this works. And I sent him a message, and he's like, yeah. He's like, and he asked me for some documents, and so I sent him all the documents, and he said it'll be $195, but he's like, you can pay me after it's done. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And so that was on, so this call's on Monday, so I must reach out to him on Monday as well. And then by Friday morning, I still hadn't heard anything back. And then all of a sudden I woke up to an email in my inbox from Google, and it said your appeal had been rejected. And I just like was like, son of a bitch. I was like so mad. I was so mad. And then I sent that screenshot to this guy who was helping us with this listing, and his response back was, ignore this. It's like, okay. Okay. And that's all he said. I was like, okay. And then literally the next day, ironically enough, on March 8th, on our 1 year anniversary, at 3:30 in the morning, Sahil is his name, messaged me. He said, good day, sir. Just want to let you know that your listing has been reinstated. And then I went and checked my email, and I got the thing from Google saying it had been reinstated. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, this guy is a friggin' stud. And after 3 weeks, we got our Google listing back. And yeah, it was the best $200 I spent, and it was great. And so, with that being said, on Sunday we got a review that came in. So technically, this wouldn't go on this week because um, I see. So this data is actually correct. See, I gotta stop messing with things. This data is correct because on Sunday we got an actual review. Um, and yeah, we're back in business again. So we have our Google listing back, and like we have our reviews back, but most importantly, we have our Google listing back. And so it'll be cool to be able to see some of this like these homepage leads have gone way down since our listing's gone away. And so I'll be interested to see now that we have some data to see if they come back now that our Google listing is back. So, and we haven't been able to advertise on Google LSA as well. So being able to add that element back from a marketing standpoint, we'll see if we can get our leads back up, and honestly see if we can, yeah, solve our biggest constraint in this business. And our biggest constraint in this business is new sales into recurring clients. Like that is what our problem is right now. Speaking of that problem, recurring clients, we lost 5 last week, and then we gained 4. So that's a net negative 1. And some of these ones, I know this one specifically. So we lost one of those cleaners we talked about last week. We lost one of those. We lost 2 of our trainers, and one of our cleaners had been with us since April, so almost a year. Yeah, and this is one of her recurring clients, and again, I don't know who all the rest of her recurring clients are, but yeah, I anticipate that there's going to be some recurring clients who cancel because we lost one of our top cleaners, and that's part of the game as well. So. And then we had $1,500 off the schedule last week. We actually charged the cancellation fee twice, which is actually pretty cool to see. We don't see a ton of this, but we charged Shay Scott and we charged Brian Craig the cancellation fee. So that's pretty cool to see. On cleaners, we definitely turned the cleaner ad spend up a little bit last week, and we got 411. We spent $411 on Indeed. We had 29 applicants, 15 phone interviews scheduled, 10 performed, 4 Zoom interviews scheduled, 4 performed. We hired 3 cleaners last week. So exciting to see. Michaela, Trinity, and Sierra. So looks like Michaela and Trinity are starting next week, and then there's one person on here who didn't make it, right, Katie? Cheryl should be on here as well.
Yeah, she was onboarded on Friday.
Yeah. So Cheryl should be on here. So Cheryl got onboarded on Friday, and then yeah, Kayla and Allie were done as of last week. And so if you guys were on here last week, I talked a little about Kayla. So she was one of our trainers, and so she actually showed up to the team meeting on Monday. We we chatted with her after she said she had to think about it, and then on Tuesday, she's like, "I think I want to stay." And then so I had a meeting with her on Wednesday with the whole office staff just to make sure we're on the same page. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm good to stay. I just have something on Thursday." And then on Friday, after her Friday shift, she was like, I should take a different job. So Kayla she quit on Sunday, came back on Wednesday, and quit again on Friday. So, and the whole time, I was just like, I was fine. Like, I think this, so for me personally, guys, like, I didn't feel one emotional reaction to any of this. And I think that was the part that I was most proud of because I just have an expectation that people are going to not be with us forever. And so when they're not, it doesn't upset me. Just like, okay. And so I was trying to figure out why they're leaving to see if there is a problem that I can solve. And so then, I offered solutions. But if somebody is swimming away, like I'm not going to go chase them. But as long as they are swimming towards me and they want to be in this pond, I will sit in the water with them and I will coach them, teach them. I will put them in the best position to be successful. But the moment they swim away, it's totally fine. I don't expect I don't expect any single person to be in this business at when it's all done. The only person I expect to be here is me and Katie. That's it. Everybody else will come and go. And for anybody who does stay, then like that's just a bonus, right? If they stick around longer, cool. But just the probability of them, it's like no one's gonna care more about this business than me and Kitty are. That's just the reality, right? So that was Kayla, and then Allie just I can't remember what Allie quit. Do you
She
remember
had like
Kitty?
sciatic nerve pain, but she
Yeah,
was also trained by the trainer that just left abruptly. So just
yeah.
who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? That being said, yeah, we had 312 assigned cleaning hours, $57 for a man-hour rate. We had some correction cleans, and yeah, here's some one-on-ones we did last week. So cool. James said he'll also be with us. So James is a lifer as well. So funny. Kitty, anything that you want to add to this?
Yeah, I think with the losing of 7 cleaners in 2 weeks, it actually gave our bottom cleaners, if you will, an opportunity to have like an at bat. And it was interesting because I'd pop in the office and the girls here were like, I just don't know if I trust them. I just don't know. Like, and I was like, if you guys do not believe in them, they will never succeed. Like you need to believe in them and you need to reinforce the belief that you have in them and share that with them and like encourage them to be successful. If you don't believe in them and if you don't encourage them, they will like they're not going to go out there and crush it on their own. So it starts at the top. So that was a cool opportunity that they got to present to the rest of the team was just like the energy in the office shifted last week to like rather than being like, I don't want to fill your schedule. You're the only option I got. It was like, you got this. Like, we believe in you. We trust you. And our the cleaner that we have on the very bottom of our hierarchy got 2 recurrings last week. And that was like my proudest moment of not only the cleaner fulfilling it and converting somebody to recurring, but the office just having faith in the team that we have. Like if you don't have faith in them, why are they here? Like we need to be able to give them opportunities. So there was like a huge blessing in losing all of the cleaners and giving the people who were hungry for an opportunity a true opportunity to succeed.
You know, and that's the benefit of being forced. Forced growth is like you're forced to like depend on people who you're not sure of. But if you realize that like your uncertainty has less to do with them and has everything to do with you, then like forced growth is good, right? So
Well, and if
yeah,
you scroll down just a little bit, Logan, the goals, if you look at the cleaner goals, like in order for us to hit $1 million, we need 15 cleaners averaging 28 hours a week. Like we need our cleaners to work more. That's with like everybody having 28 hours across the board, over 15 cleaners tools. That doesn't account for openings.
yeah. So how are we going to solve that problem? How are we going to fill schedules? Okay,
We're going to keep hiring.
keep hiring. Yeah. One other thing that we're going to do too. So Elia's on here, which is great. So we actually have a meeting with Elia um, later today. But the thing that we see as the biggest constraint in this location is initial cleans and converting them to recurring. And so I think at some point there is like a skill level, like a skill set or a capacity level that somebody has. And I think that as of right now, our office girls, mind you, they've only been in the office since August. So they're 6 months into this job and they had never had sales before. So like they're doing pretty good. Like they close 60%, 70%. Um, they're doing pretty good. But our goals aren't just pretty good goals. Like we're trying to build $1 million business. And like that takes exceptional. And so in order to like you don't have average people who create exceptional businesses. It's just the reality of the thing. And so the reason why this thing grew so fast, and again, like just speaking from a standpoint of just skill set level, like Katie and I have skills, right? So you consider us having exceptional skills as an example. And so that's how this business was growing so fast is because Katie and I we had a big impact on it. But as we're able to have as less impact from like a working standpoint on it, then we really like we're basically constrained by the level of actually the inputs inside the business. And so recognizing that, we're like looking around. I'm like, what other assets do we have? And like we have a huge asset. I would say that, if you want somebody else who has exceptional skills, it's Alaya. And so we've been working on our first location on actually getting that so it's not dependent on Alaya. So then we can actually have her start the third location, right? That's been what we've been doing in the background. So we didn't talk about it on this call because at the time it had little to do with Mesa. But what what we have done with Bozeman now is that we've hired another office person. So they've been part-time for the last, I think, for the last three, 3 or 4 weeks. And then this is their second full-time week in the office. And then, so now we have two other full-time people outside of Alaya inside the office in Bozeman with the intention that they are the ones who are going to be the inputters for Bozeman. So then Alaya has the intention to start a third location. Well, before we can start a third location, the second location, which is Mesa, right here, it needs to be at $1 million, right? It needs to be profitable. It needs to be producing. And so we had this, what maybe seemed like a crazy thought, but like to bring Alaya into Mesa. And so starting this week, that's going to be our strategy, our attempt to increase this problem we're having with not enough sales, not enough conversions, is bringing in somebody who's got exceptional skills and really exceptional skills inside that domain to be able to see if we can solve this problem. And so we're going to add a third person, more attention, and we're going to also throw some more money at it as well. We're going to increase our marketing and just seeing if we can throw resources at this problem. And we'll see. Like I actually don't know. To be completely fair, I have no idea if this is going to work. And Elias on here and like if it doesn't, like it's not an Alaya thing. They're just like we will learn why this didn't work. But I'm just trying to put what I believe the best pieces, the best assets we have around us, and try to put them into situations that get us closer to being able to get the result we want, which is how do we get $19,000 a week in revenue every single week, right? Um, so that's what we're gonna do. And so the girls in Mesa don't even know this yet. That's why I said it and Katie didn't say it because we're meeting with them right after this. We're gonna tell them the plan. In all fairness, we don't even know the entire plan because we haven't talked with Alaya yet about this. But that's our strategy to solve this. The constraint is just bring in a superstar and just seeing if that works. And it might not work. It might not work. But it's the best thing I got at this moment. It's all I know what to do. Um, so that's what we're gonna do. And so you guys will start to see a different name on this sheet maybe next week. There'll be a different name on here. And at the same time, we also have to make sure that Bozeman continues to grow as well. And it's cool because Eli's done a great job of like putting herself in a situation where she's not needed in Bozeman, and she's like, what do I do with my time? It's like you coach, right? Which is actually very similar conversations that I've been having with someone like Jessica and Lucas, who um, they grew their business from, I think we just talked about this. They started out in the community with about $13,000 a month. And then they have now grown their business to 88,000 was their best month that they've done. And they've also, not only have they grown the revenue, but they've also grown themselves out of the operations where um, neither Lucas or Jessica had any part of sales last week. The last piece of the equation they have is they're still doing the interviewing. Um, but it's cool to like watch them walk through this process of like, what do I do with my time now? Right? And it's like, well, you learn the next skill set. And the next skill set is called leadership, right? And leadership is less about doing, but it's helping the people who are doing from going freaking crazy. I'm going crazy. I have all these problems in my life. You're like, it's okay. Yes, you do, but it's okay. And ironically enough, it's just like what we do for coaching as well. Like when Kate and I coach any of you guys who do one-on-one coaching, like it's very similar in the fact that like it's just like I have all these crazy things going on in my head, and it's like it's okay. Yes, I understand. That's okay. And it's our job to be a leader and bring a 10 out of 10 problem down to a 1 out of 10 problem, right? And so yeah, that's the next skill set that Lai gets to learn. While at the same time, she gets to satisfy her desire to be a doer. And Lai is a great doer. She's very good at sales. She's very fast. She's very like she's just like again, like she has exceptional skills. And so to be able to distract her with that while at the same time it almost forces her to be a leader in Bozeman, I think is going to be an opportunity for her to be able to learn that skill set as well of like not doing, but she gets to satisfy her doing over here. But eventually, then she'll stop doing over here, and then she'll maybe go do a location. So then she'll be a leader in 2 locations, as an example. And so that's all. Ironically enough, that's what Katie and I do with this, as an example. Like this is our doing in Mesa and Bozeman. Like we're not the doers in those locations. So like this is our way of satisfying our doing is is this, right? Is coaching you guys, doing it for free. Like so much that we do it for free.